if he if he makes units, I'm not going to fall very behind in drones. So I do feel like aggression is pretty unexploitably good here in a lot of these situations.
So you went right into banelings. You want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Sure. I know it's kind of picking up a little bit.
Speeding baneling has is pretty micro-intensive.
That's what I hear. It's actually my preferred style of play in this matchup. Not that I'm any good at it. Alright, so this is something that I see a lot. He says, I don't want to fight you, I'm going to go to your base, and then you make the decision to micro intently.
Yep. I think I'm pretty dead to this game.
I think you might be in trouble, my friend.
Yep. He got speed before me, and he ran by. I probably made a pretty bad decision to go around to base race him. I should have ran back and defended a little bit, but I think he actually did a very similar build to what I did.
Almost identical. The only difference was he got later banelings.
Yeah, he only had I don't know if you get 1 or 2 queens, but if you're going a lot of speedlings, you can get 2 queens and make a lot of speedlings. But making a lot of speedlings will lose to just like getting a baneling nest, because the banelings are such good support for the speedlings. One of the things is I feel like if you're going speedling, you should you can kind of either go speedling into roach or speedling into baneling, or you can just stay speedlings, but by forcing, if you're going to speedling baneling, you do want to get a lot of speedlings early, because the thing is, if you make a lot of speedlings, you want to have, like, it's better to have 40 speedlings and 2 banelings than 40 speedlings and 2 roaches. Like, the 2 banelings will be a lot better support for a big speedling mirror than 2 roaches. So if you are going early banelings, you do want to force a dynamic where there's going to be a lot of zerglings early, because in a big zergling battle, the banelings are going to be a lot better support than roaches are going to be. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to get caught in you don't want to be doing like a defensive speedling baneling thing, because if you're not forcing a lot of speedlings early, then they can pretty much skip that step and go straight to roaches, and you're pretty much going to have a wasted tech tree of banelings there.
Cool. Awesome. That's to me, the game that we just saw is more indicative of, in my opinion, the state of ZvZ these days, where it starts out with a fast expand of some sort, be it speedling expand or otherwise, and then goes right into a lot of zerglings, and then it goes into banelings, and then there is a next step in the progression, but it only kind of comes after you guys kind of bash your heads against each other a couple times and realize that nobody's winning.
One of the things is, like I said, the reason why people go banelings before roaches in a lot of these spots is because just what I said before. In a big speedling fight, it's better to have 1 or 2 banelings as support versus the 30 zerglings, versus 30 zerglings and 1 or 2 roaches. But once people do drone up a bit, once the speedling baneling battles slow down a bit, where no one's dying anymore, the battles, once everyone has enough defenses and drone up a bit, people are going to be switching to roaches, because roaches will dominate once people get bigger economies, because roaches are more income intensive per larva, and roaches beat speedlings in larger numbers. But in smaller numbers, speedlings beat roaches, and at the start of the game you have smaller armies and smaller battles, so speedlings is a lot stronger early game.
Yep.
I feel like once you get strong enough, maybe like 25 drones, even on 2 bases, then people are going to be switching to roaches, just because even one production batch of roaches is going to give you enough roaches that's going to be really cost-effective for speedlings and banelings.
One production cycle meaning 4 or 8?
Kind of just like pretty much like 8, yeah. Just like from your main and natural.
Yeah.
Just turn all our larvae into roaches, maybe.
Just something to give you enough of a something to clog up that ramp, something that he can't just kind of smash into and run past.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'm sure that you would probably like another go at Aquanda, and if it's well, let me actually go ahead and make the other disclaimer. Every pro I've ever brought on here has had at least one game taken off of them, so it happens. Rhett's lost, Machine is lost, In Control is lost. Cats didn't lose.
All good.
Cats is undefeated.
Cats is pretty good.
So he almost lost. He played the most epic ZvT I've ever seen, but he managed to pull it out of his, you know what. So, and Sheth. I don't know if Sheth has lost the game either. So Cats and Sheth maybe are undefeated, but everybody gets beat from time to time. So if you want another go at Aquanda, I think after this game it'd be a great time for it. Maybe we can do it on Scrap, because I think that's a pretty popular ZvZ map.
Okay.
At least for ladder play. But here we're on Xel'Naga. So, and this is exactly what you were talking about earlier when you said the hatchery is so far from your ramp that you can't just protect it with a spine crawler and a couple queens. You got to have more than that. So, what does this do to your opening?
Well, pretty much, I won't be opening hatch first on Xel'Naga. If I'm going to be opening, a speedling, some kind of speedling build, and I'm going to be, doing different things based on what I see. But I am going to be opening 14 gas, 14 pool. The thing is, if they actually go for hatch first and I go for a speedling build, I feel like they're not going to be able to get an economic advantage over me because they can't use very cost-effective defense like the Queen Spine Crawler defense.
Right.
They're pretty much going to just be making units to fight my units, and they're going to have a pretty tough spot to defend. My speed, like my gas tech is going to come a lot faster than theirs, but they're going to have a larva advantage over me with the hatch first. But all in all, I don't feel like I feel like both are playable, but I feel like a speedling build is a little bit better opening on Xel'Naga.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm curious, is it going to be like a one-base Baneling play, or is it going to be an expansion behind the speedlings?
I would probably almost never go one base speedling baneling versus another one base Zerg, because on Xel'Naga, even if you don't drone scout, your overlord will get right. Your overlord will get right over their natural at around when you want to make a decision what you want to do. If you actually do see one base versus one base speedling opening, you could just go speedling into roach, and if they go speedling into baneling, they're pretty much not going to be able to bust their ramp because they'll have 3 roaches on the ramp blocking it, so the banelings can't bust up your ramp and go for your mineral line. And pretty much after that, they're going to have like a wasted attack of baneling nest. So I don't feel like speedling in one base speedling baneling is that good. I feel like there's like a couple.
My heart, man. It's my favorite way to play. Period. I love one.
Yeah, I feel like there's a couple of problems with all the builds. I feel like all the builds are kind of are strong versus certain builds and weak versus others. Because I feel like one base speedling into roach you're not gonna be able to put any aggression versus speedling expo, because if they do a speedling expo, they're basically guaranteed to have a lot of larvae and have a lot of you're not going to have enough roaches to make the roaches good for speedlings in the middle of the map to pressure their expo. So I kind of pretty much just go like a speedling expo build, but I get 2 queens to block my ramp, and if they go one base speedling baneling, I will just kind of block my ramp with 2 queens so they can't go for my main. I probably wouldn't be able to expo versus that, but then
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I don't feel like you'd be able to defend your natural hatchery.
Yeah, pretty much like my plan is to kind of speedling expo, but if they actually go speedling baneling instead of speedling roach, I will probably just defend my main and add in a roach horn.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess the best thing we can do beyond just sitting here and talking about it is seeing it in action. Are you ready, sir?
Sure.
All right. Good luck. Have fun. GG. And yeah, man, like maybe you can just kind of let me know, how do you feel about my thought process here? I love opening Speedling Bane, and then if I see anything that I don't feel like I'm happy to see, like a one-base play that might be leading into roaches, then I'll just cancel the Baneling Nest and expand.
Yeah, I think that's good. If you can see the roach warren, if you can scout the roach warren somehow, you should definitely cancel your Baneling Nest and go expand. But I feel like just expanding, because that's not as an optimized expand as the
Right.
you know, taking your guys off gas right after 100 and, you know, getting an expansion right away.
Man, you pros are all by the numbers.
And it's a little bit harder to hold some of, you know, just the one base,
Yeah.
like roach all-ins, if you're doing a little bit unoptimized expansion build, you know, where you're, you know, building a Baneling nest, canceling it, getting some extra gas.
It's amazing to me the amount of efficiency you guys put into your builds. Like, I talk to Machine a lot, and he works on his builds a lot, and it's just pretty nuts how, you know, like, my favorite story to talk about is, like, me and Machine were talking about ZVP, and he was like, okay, on 82 supply, you want to build 3 Overlords, 2 Roaches, 4 Zerglings, 1 Drone, and a Queen. And I'm like, okay, Machine.
It's pretty hard to have build orders up to 82.
Yeah. Not for Bryce, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. I never knew he did that, but...
I am obviously embellishing a little bit, but
yeah,
he is so precise in his timings
yeah,
and in everything that he kind of knows about the game.
I'm pretty much relying on my first Overlord to get an eye over his natural, so I can tell whether he's going hatch first or one base build. But it does get there fast enough on Xel'Naga to change up your build a little bit, whatever you want to do.
So I'm curious, are you going to be taking guys off gas, or are you going to let them keep mining? Looks like they're going to.
I'm going to be taking my guys off gas after 100. Just going to be making a lot of Speedlings. They're going to be Speedlings soon, but they're Zerglings now.
And I'll actually, oftentimes, and tell me if you just, I guess this is just a matter of being inefficient in your opinion. Oh, looks like he's going hatch first.
That does not look like hatch
No?
first. It's some kind of like...
It's a weird timing.
It's either a Speedling Expo, well, it can't be a Speedling Expo because my build is Speedling Expo. I would just be starting my thing right now, but it's either like pool hash, like 1416, or some kind of Speedling Expo with a little bit, like something cut out, you know, like maybe the Zerglings cut out or the speed a little bit slower. I'm pretty much just going to be making a lot of Speedlings here and just going for very heavy aggression because I feel like his Zergling speed is going to be slower than mine based on his hatch timing. So I feel like I'm going to have a time where I can just do a lot of damage with Speedlings versus Slowlings. So I'm going to be pumping Zerglings out until my speed upgrade kicks in and trying to take advantage of that timing window. Actually, he does have... No, he doesn't have... Yeah, he does have speed.
Yeah, he must have gone like 13 pool or something.
But I mean, you can still just make mass Speedlings here. In this kind of game, like the economies aren't going to settle down where you can kind of make another thing other than like a Speedling. It's going to be extremely hard to run up in these spots. Once it does settle down, you could add in a Roach Warren or a Baneling Nest.
I'm very curious. You just now put guys back on gas. What was the cue for that?
I think I have enough Speedlings that I want to get another tech in, whether it's a Baneling Nest or Roach Warren. When I see this many Zerglings, I pretty much am going to try to add in a Baneling Nest. I think I just had a little bit more Zerglings in that battle. I mean, it's so hard to ever run up in this kind of game when people do these kind of expo builds, just because it's like anytime someone's stronger, and especially Zelnog, the map is so open, it's almost impossible to drone up in this kind of situation.